Alright, so I'm going to be talking about how to change out your stock signals for aftermarket signals. It's really easy. I'm going to go over it in great detail here today, but basically you take this off, you take that off, you take the stock signal off, you put the aftermarket signal on this piece, you rewire the aftermarket signal into the stock signal adapter, you put this back on, you put that back on, you connect the wires. Nope. Alright, today we're going to be talking about changing out your stock signals from your FZ09 into aftermarket signals. I'm going to go into a great deal. Today I'm going to talk about how to change your stock signals out for your aftermarket signals. It's pretty basic, but I do have a detailed walkthrough here. Wow, I need a script or something. Today I'm going to be talking about how to change your stock signals out for aftermarket signals. I've got a detailed explanation here, but the basic explanation is take this off, take this off, take the stock signal off of this, put the aftermarket signal back onto this, put this onto that, connect the wires to the stock wiring, and then connect the stock wiring back to the actual wiring harness on the bike, put these back on, and that's it. For a more detailed explanation, tips and tricks, and little lessons I learned along the way, here it comes. So there's 4 bolts, there's a 4mm hex here, and then a 5mm hex there, there, and there. After that's done, place the screws in a nice holder. This side's a little tricky because there's a clamp in there. Oh, I'll never see that battery. But how am I going to get it off here? Alright, so this guy is in here. Just cram the wrench, undo the latchet. Now if you have any questions, look at this guy up here. It's similar but not identical to it. And then just push it off. This clasp, remember, we just used a screwdriver to jam it in there. Next, there's a rubber grommet here. You just push it out. It's the easiest thing in the world to get out. Impossible to get back in. There's other more detailed explanations on how to do this part online, but you pull the plastic tab off of that, and I'll show it once it's out. And then you pop the plastic tab off the rubber grommet, and because you can't get it the other side there, you just sort of have to twist this one up until it comes out. There. So they're both out. Once that's out, you can then take this off. Careful with this tab. You just pop it up and pull. It comes right apart. Now you see I have the rubber grommet from the turn signal still held onto the plastic. There we go. Now don't lose these plastic tabs. But you want to get them off. Like so. So then this looks like that. There's a tab there, and a hole there, and there. So that's what holds it on the bike. So you reach in from under, from the opening, peel that off, push it up, go to the other side, push it off, pull it out. Now, there's a small nut down there, and that I believe is a 8mm, but I'll double check and let you know. Alright, yep, it is an 8mm. So you just pop it in. Okay, so there's a nut with a head on it there. Save all that. Now what I do to save it is I just put it back on. And you're going to do the same on both sides. Now this won't come out, this won't come off until you cut it. Cover that in a second. Doing the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now you've got 4 of them. Alright, the back, same way, so front and back, all the same. Undone, the grommet up here, all the same. The backs are ridiculously easy, and you should probably be getting a fender eliminator, so there'll be instructions on how to remove those. I just want to point out that the connectors on the bike and the signals themselves are color coded. Gray is left and black is right. So while you're sitting on the bike, gray is on the left, black is on the right. So here's the left turn signal with the gray connector. You see it matches up there. Now I'm going to cut it, and that'll get us ready for the next step. You want to leave enough wire on each side just in case you do want to reconnect them for whatever reason. You can. Slide this mount up as close to the connector as possible, and then careful, snip it, and make sure you're holding onto both sides properly, and then you're ready for the next stage. Okay, so I've popped the metal piece, oops, yeah, popped the metal piece out, so it's just rubber, and I had to buy 8mm metric washers for my lights. Now my lights may be different than yours, but specifically with my lights, they are directional, so you just have to make sure you know which end is which going in, or which end you want up. So here, easiest way to do this is you just set them like that, and then the nut comes right off. Okay, so the miracle happens here. You look at this, so this is the inside, that's the outside. This washer there just happens to magically perfectly fit, almost like they planned it. Okay, you go here like that, pull your wires through, so this makes sure that your signal will sit flush against there, so like that. And then thread your lock washer. Here, oh, one more lock washer, and then the lock washer back in. There we go. Sorry about the light. See if I can fix that in post. Alright. Push it on. This slides down. Don't torque it too much. And How the f am I going to get that on there? Alright, I'm going to have to pause this and think about this. So, I stuck a 13mm long socket in there, and now I just have to hold it. Turn this guy. Ah. So they're pretty good. Doesn't seem to turn. Alright. Alright, now on the other side again, just a couple tips. You'll feel it. So here. To release it, hold right there, and then it'll loosen up the grip, otherwise it'll be kind of suction cupped in there. So do that, hold it, and then turn it. Careful not to break it. So this one seems to be much more difficult. Okay, so for whatever reason this side doesn't seem to be twisting at all. So I'm just going to line it up again like the other side.
Maybe a little bit. Still not moving forward. And then now.
Cold tools. Oh, there we go. So now, again, push here and here to release the snug. Hold on the socket, and then look down inside there to make sure that your lock nut has compressed. Yeah, I was able to get it just by using my hands there. A little bit of torque. Test fit. You don't want to use too much force, especially when it's cold out. Breaking this plastic would be very expensive. There we go. Nice, easy to install. You don't have to buy any extra parts, fillers or gaps or anything. You just use Yamaha's products and there you go. Just in time. One thing, there's a connected washer plate thing to keep it from squishing. Isolate the vibrations on both top and bottom. Just be cognizant of them. Don't lose them. When you're switching from stock signals to aftermarket LEDs, you're going to need to replace the signal box here. They're about $3 to $5 online. Don't pay more than $10 for them. And yeah, they just make sure that your signals blink at the correct rate. So before you actually mount the signals back onto the bike, you're going to want to test to make sure that they work. It's a lot easier to go back and correct electrical problems when you don't have to take the entire bike apart again. And if you want to see how I connected the stock connectors to the aftermarket wiring, click the box here on the screen. It's about a 10-12 minute video on how I did that. It is pretty basic, but if you've never done that before and you're interested in learning how, it's really easy, so I suggest you take a look. Make sure you reinstall the rubber grommets back onto the plastic shrouds before you put the signals in. It's much easier to do when you can freely move them around. Otherwise, they are pretty tricky to deal with. Alright, let's continue on. Black, that's the right side. Got the clips. What we're going to do is just fit the bike in, the signal in, excuse me, like that. You don't want to force anything too hard. Can't remember which side was easiest. There we go. So, skinny side first, and then the fatter side. There's the wire coming through. Oh, I forgot to clamp this on. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. Skinny side back. The hole, it fits because Well, you got it off stock that way. See, now I gotta get it past this rubber thing. Okay, so just a little bit of work. So to work it past the little flap, and you can see the little plastic bit is sitting on top of the rubber there. Screwdriver bends the rubber up, pushed it in, and then the other side, the grommet in the way, same thing. I actually just got that bottom side in just by touching it. So you can see the rubber grommet is on top of, hopefully you can see, top of the plastic on that side. On this side it's not. Just gotta push it a couple more times. There, see, now it's on. It's really easy, looks really hard. And then now back to this, fold your wire in as best you can, wrap it. So now we've got your wire tucked in there, get your rubber grommet on, get your turn signal secured. You still have a hole here, you can fill that with silicone or tape or nothing. I'm not going to. This side does have this clasp. Remember, we just used a screwdriver to jam it in there, and that's going to go on this guy right here. That's your brake, it's your hydraulic hose. So you want to get this fitted in and around. Connect the wires first. That's actually going to be when you use it. So fold your wire in a couple of times. It may not be possible with your soldering, but at least twice. Nice and easy. Stretch the rubber around it. Okay, then fit the piece and now we'll sync. So you test fit this guy on. You see in there the hole matches up. Down there it does. And then hopefully that's not too close, but you can see it's ready to go on that. So I don't know if I can do this with one hand. Lift it up and then sort of twist it under. It in. There we go. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. In case you've forgotten, we've got one with a black plate on it and a size 4mm hex. That's the top. Goes there. Doesn't look like that's close to fitting. And then you have a short one. That's a 5mm hex, 4mm, 5mm. And then these two equally longer ones, the two ones are obviously up there. The one shorter one is down here. So, line them up to the holes. You will have to move it around and shake it. You'll see it did just that. There. That one's in. See it positioned it. This whole thing is floating. Kind of ties itself together. Again, long one. You want to force it, you want to be able to do 90% or 99% all the way in by hand. If you do that way, you're not going to cross thread it. You probably won't cross thread it. Dog control. Can't get that one. So even though I can't reach it with my hand, I'm just going to use the tool by hand until I find it seating properly. I twist it in. I'm not going to make anything super snug. I'm going to let this sit now and do the other side. Alright, so these guys, this side, I've already got the grommet in. Undo it, gray is left. So, we've got this plastic thing on here. Now we fold the grommet inside like this. And then I'm going to push this plastic set past that rubber protector. Grommet, I don't know what you call that. There, okay, so it's like that. And then I'm going to let it sit loose so that I can actually mount this in. Okay, you don't want to torque on your lights at all. There. Okay, so same as the other side. I don't think you can see it because of the light I'm using now, but there. The rubber piece right there is on the plastic piece of rubber, wire holder, grommet, I don't know what we call that. In there, bend it. Again, your solders probably won't bend, so just be aware of where they are. Pull it on, just like that. Well, connect your piece again. If you look at it, see that from there? It's pretty far away. Okay, so odd one out. Black is the odd one out. Fit them in like that. Tuck in the wires. There we go. Fits just like that. Right side's easier because you don't have the front brake hose. Clutch line is this one though. So again, 4 bolts. The small one, 4mm, goes on the top, and you have to line it up. Then you have 3 left. They're all 5mm hexes. 2 of them are longer than one, or one of them is shorter than the other 2, however you want to say that. So then you just move this front piece. That's why you don't tighten that other side down completely. Move your front piece until they line up. Finger tighten so you don't cross thread or get into anything you shouldn't be. Same on the front. Again, I'm not using the tool to torque it on, I'm just using the piece to get it set, finger tight. It's really easy to turn. If it's hard, you're probably cross-threading it. Alright, and fun fact, the Allen key that comes under your seat is 4mm and will fit on this guy here. So, now that this is done, tighten the top ones, tighten the bottom one, other side. Now we test it to make sure it works. Alright, like I showed earlier, you shouldn't be testing them on the first time when they're mounted like this. You test them when they're just the wires like we showed earlier. On, I can do 4 ways. Right? They're working. Okay, that way you know if they're not working at this point, something in how you put them back together has caused them not to work properly, and not your soldering or anything like that. Yeah, that's it. I'm just going to tighten up the bolts here, and I'll do the backs later. I'm still waiting on parts that I've just discovered I need before I can finish. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments section below, and I'll answer them as well as I can.